What's up everyone, I'm Emma, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. And I post every single Sunday at 12 Central Time. So today I'm going to be doing my gymnastics story, and as many of you know, I just recently quit gymnastics. So I'm basically going to be sharing with you my journey from the sport from the very start. My first remembrance of the sport was, I think, in 2004, or it might have been a little later. It was like some big gymnastics competition that was going on. And it was during the summer, and I just put on like a bunch of one-piece swimsuits, and I was dancing around the house, acting like an Olympian, and then I like put on a bunch of makeup, stuff like that, and I was just playing around. And then throughout like the next year, I started just like playing around, doing different weird skills that they probably don't even have names for them. And I was just doing random things, like acting like I was a gymnast, acting like I was on beam, all that fun stuff. So I was about 6, and me and my sister, we both got in swimsuits, different colors, and we tried to prank our parents saying that we made it to the gym team, blah blah blah, and they're like, well, you're not in gymnastics. And I was just like, okay. So basically we both wanted to be a gymnast really bad, so we begged our parents. About 4 years later, we were invited to a gymnastics lock-in at a gym. And there, basically, I stayed up all night. I did back tucks off the beam, I did front layout, played on the bars, just played around with everything. And one of the coaches was like, you're such a natural and you're so tiny, this is a good sport for you. And since I loved it so much, like 2 weeks later, my parents enrolled me in tumbling classes at a different gym that was closer to our house. So I took classes for, I think, 2 whole years. So by that time I was about 11, and then we switched gyms to somewhere that was like more feasible times. We could go at different times of the day and just like make it work for us, because I was doing track at the time and it was just hard to do both sports. So we went there and I gained a lot of skills like my kip, back walker, run beam. I was starting to work on front handspring, on vault, stuff like that. And the problem with that gym was it was like not very organized, and we didn't get to do every event, every practice. It was more like, oh, we'll come to bars for 2 hours and then we'll just do stuff on floor, because the gym was really small and they had all the competitive people, and the competitive people got the whole gym because they needed it, and the recreational people just kind of got pushed aside most of the time. So after that, I quit gym for 3 months. And I started back up in May at the gym I first started at. So I went there, and the next spring rolls around. So at this time I was, I think, 12, and I wanted to be on the competitive team. So my parents went to all the meetings, did everything you had to do, and then they're like, well, it's too expensive, maybe wait a little longer because you might not really want to do this. So I waited. So the next year, my parents allowed me to try out for the team, and I unfortunately didn't make it. And that was just because they only had like 2 or 3 spots on the team, and I don't really know. I guess I didn't have as many of the skills as I should have, just because switching gyms. And the classes I was in, I went 2 days a week. One was strictly tumbling, the other one was like all the events. So I had like my round off, back handspring, back tuck, and skills like that, but I didn't have all the skills on like beam and vault that I needed. So I didn't make the team that year, and I basically just used it for motivation to keep trying. So throughout that rest of that year, so it was like May through December, I gained a lot of skills. I like perfected my form on things, and the next year I ended up making the Excel gym team, and I was supposed to be gold, but I ended up being silver just because my floor routine, I did not have the back tuck by myself consistently, so I couldn't compete it, and therefore I couldn't be gold. And before my state meet last year, so it was around March 17th, because our meet was like supposed to be that weekend. During practice that week, I had the flu for a week, and I was feeling sick, coughing a lot, and my back started hurting at practice, but it felt fine. Like, I was like, oh, it's fine, I'm just sore. Well, like 2 days later, I went back to practice and it started hurting really bad. So I ended up going to the doctor, all that stuff, and I was at a gym for about 2 months straight, like didn't go to practice, and then the doctor cleared me to be able to just do conditioning. So I'd go to gym, condition for an hour, and then go home. I did that for about a week, and then I was able to start full-on practicing, and I practiced about for 3 weeks straight. I learned my platinum bar routine, got my front tuck off the beam, and see, I did my front handspring vault. And the floor, I was still working my way up tumbling because I didn't want to injure myself again. And then stuff happened. I'm not going to explain it all right now, but a bunch of stuff happened in May last year, and I was forced to quit gym, which is a good and a bad thing. Good thing because I have more free time and I can make more videos, and a bad thing because that was a sport I grew up with and basically loved my whole life. So yeah, gymnastics was basically the main sport in my life. I was a dancer from the age of 2 till 9, and then I did gymnastics from then till now. And yeah, so basically gymnastics is just like was my life, and now I'm exploring new areas of my life and trying to find new hobbies. Basically, I wanted to do my gymnastics story just to give you like a brief overview of my journey through the sport, and not really talk about anything in specific like injuries or anything, because I've had plenty of injuries. And I just wanted to basically share that with you and conclude that this will probably be the last gymnastics video I post on this channel, or at least for right now, unless I do something like trying gymnastics skills like a year after I quit or something like that. But for now, I'm going to be sticking to beauty, lifestyle, makeup, anything like that kind of video. But from now on, it's just going to be me exploring new hobbies, and I'm going to take you along the journey. So I hope you all enjoyed this gymnastics story. I know it's sad because a lot of my viewers like to see my gymnastics, but it is now time to move on to a new part of my life. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed all those years you got to see me do gymnastics. Now you get to see me explore more of my life. So see you next week.